The angels want to speak with us about a very important phenomenon that goes on with highly sensitive people, with caretakers, with empaths, and with lightworkers. We've become really good at discerning what is good for us and what's not. So we can feel into the things that are being offered to us and feel if it's a yes or a no for us at any given moment. We've become able to do this more and more, especially over the last few years. And what happens now is that it becomes difficult for those of us who have to say no to things to actually take the action to say no. And when I tuned in, Archangel Uriel showed himself. Archangel Uriel is the archangel of life purpose. So the fact that he's showing up here is important because when we're not expressing our truth in even its simplest form, we are actually holding ourselves back from living our life purpose. So to put it more plainly, when we feel that an opportunity is not right for us, when we feel that attending a certain party is not the best decision for us to make, it's the actual saying no to that event that makes us really uncomfortable. So what we tend to do is avoid the situation. We'll kind of ghost on people so that we don't actually have to say no. And then there's a second behavior that a lot of us do, and that's say yes to the event, and then the day of say that we're sick or something came up, or make an excuse not to be there. Sometimes this excuse is not a lie, because what happens is we don't want to do this thing so much. We know that it's not in our best interest. We know that we don't have the energy to sustain ourselves through it. So rather than have said no right at the beginning, our body now has to somehow ensure that we don't get to the event. And the easiest way for our bodies to do that is to get sick. And you'll see that sometimes you'll get sick the morning of an event, and then by afternoon you'll be fine. So the angels want to communicate with us today that this is the behavior that we are to address. This is the behavior that we need to look at throughout the month of April, because this is a really big shift for so many of us. When we mean no, when we intuitively feel like the answer should be no, to actually say no, to not feel that we have to offer 100 excuses for why we can't be there, just to say no from the standpoint of this is what is best for me, and to let go of the worry, to let go of the false obligation that we have to be there or ... We give ourselves all of these unreasonable reasons for stressing ourselves out, for putting ourselves in situations that are not conducive to our growth or well-being. And this may be an event you really, really want to attend, and on any other weekend it would be great for you to go, but you've had a really rough week and you just don't have the stamina, physical, mental, emotional, to attend. You know that you would be better off spending the time at home or going to a movie with friends. It's okay to say no. There have been times in our lives where we have been so afraid to say no, so afraid to take a stand for our energy that we won't answer the doorbell. We'll hide from whoever it is that's at the door. We would say yes to every single invitation that came to us just because how would so-and-so feel if I didn't say yes and I said yes to everyone else? There have actually been times in my own life where I considered signing up for some sort of program, a coaching program or another program that cost many, many $1,000s, rather than say no to the person because I knew that it wasn't the right thing for me at the time. And one time it was at the 11th hour. I was just about to click send on the money and I was like, what are you doing? And that's what each and every one of us does. We have to stand into that more and more this month. That's where our big shift, even though it seems like a little shift, this is a big shift for us because we've got the intuitive part down. The intuitive knowing is there. Listening in for that full body yes, is this the right thing for me to do? We've got that. Now it's just standing behind that, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. Our voice is just as important as everyone else's. We've always been a little bit more sensitive than other people. So we've in the past felt people's disappointment when we said no, or we felt our own disappointment when other people said no to us. And we've had that mean something. We've created meaning that wasn't necessarily there about what that is. And that's something that we do a lot. We create meaning behind words when there is none. And sometimes it's just navigating our own depth of feeling. So the disappointment when Dan said he couldn't come to your birthday party, or when Uncle Joe said whatever he said, that disappointment has been so much deeper for you than it would have for most other people, that there's a piece of the highly sensitive person that doesn't want to create that in another person, that doesn't want to disappoint someone that deeply or have them feel that badly. When the truth is, when we're standing in our truth, when we're standing in honoring what we are choosing and choosing not to do, that is the most empowering thing that we can give. That is the most empowering gift we can give to somebody else, because allowing them to see that we are truly standing by what we choose, that we are truly standing in the kind of life that we're talking about living, we're really doing it, frees other people up to do the same thing, frees people up to say no when they mean no, frees people up to say yes when they mean yes. And you've seen all of the damage that's been created when people don't say no when they mean no. We're undoing a lot of that at this point in time in history, and that's just a huge mess that we're now having to clean up and having to straighten out. So this is the time in history for us to start saying no and meaning it, and not making it mean anything else other than we're choosing to say no in this moment. And Archangel Uriel is wanting us to understand that when we can clear this path in our own voice, there is an energetic component that will clear, that will allow us to then say yes energetically to the things we truly want, and to say no energetically to the things we don't want. So for example, maybe you would like to teach a yoga class, and there are opportunities that are coming to you, but they are at completely inconvenient times for you, or they are opportunities that don't really resonate with what your heart wants to do. Your heart wants to teach yoga to children, and these are opportunities that you would be teaching yoga to adults. And saying yes just for the fact of saying yes, when your heart truly isn't in it, when it's not something you truly want to do, when you're not receiving a full body yes on that answer, that is confusing the universe, right? Because what you're saying is yes. What your heart is saying is, this doesn't feel really right to me. And you're saying yes in this direction when what you really want is in this direction. So the universe is like all over the place of what do I give her? What she's asking for and what she's choosing are two different things. And a lot of times we'll be presented with opportunities that we can say yes or no to in order to clarify our desire. So we shout out the desire that we would like to teach yoga. These opportunities are presenting themselves, but we realize then, because of the opportunities at hand, that we want to teach yoga to children. And so saying that, okay, wait, I would need a clarification, universe, I would like to teach yoga to children, and starting to move from the place of manifesting that helps us to get what we truly want, helps us to put ourselves where we want to be. Because if we said yes to every other opportunity that came our way, we might find ourselves completely depleted. And then when that opportunity to teach a kid's yoga class showed up, we might already have a class in that time slot. So this is the opportunity for us to express what we truly desire when we're being given opportunities, to say yes and to say no, and to know why we're doing that, to check our motives for saying yes or no, and to come at those answers from a place of deep, deep truth. That feels like what the angels would like to communicate to us today. If you would like to be amongst a group of like-minded people and really work on the opportunities that you've been given and that will manifest in your life, to stand in your full light, to move through those energy blockages and barriers that may have been in your system for lifetimes even, then I encourage you to check out our Standing in Your Full Light 3-call program, where the angels will be talking with us about and helping us to clear our blockages to standing in the full light of who we are, to allowing our voice to be heard, and we'll begin to honor ourselves for our deepest truths. The angels will be teaching on every one of these calls, and will also be answering your questions. No question is too big or too small, so bring all of your questions, bring all of your fears, bring all of your doubts, and bring all of your hopes to each one of these calls. If you would like more information, just click the link in the description of this video or in the comments. I hope to see you there. Bye, everybody.